Hello there. I know why you're here. You've come to me to know how to get powered, haven't you? You've come to the right place. I will tell you how to get power so you can reject the null hypothesis in statistics.
I don't think that's the type of power I'm looking for.
Nonsense. Iron triangles are nothing compared to the power to reject the null hypothesis. But before we get to power and how to get it, I must first talk about hypotheses. You see, the null hypothesis is a general statement that there is no association or relationship between two things. The alternative hypothesis is a rival statement that there is a relationship or that something is the result of real effects. So, for example, a null hypothesis would be that there's no association between the governments of the world and the Illuminati, while an alternative hypothesis is that there is an association between our governments and the Illuminati.
But the Illuminati doesn't exist.
That's what they want you to think. Now, let's go on to my next point. So, let's talk about type 1 and type 2 errors. Very devious. So, a type 1 error occurs if we reject the null hypothesis, but the null hypothesis is actually true. And a type 2 error occurs if we fail to reject the null hypothesis, but the null hypothesis is wrong, and we can prove that it is wrong. So, for example, a type 1 hypothesis would be if we find evidence that the alternative hypothesis that the Illuminati controls our government exists, but the null that there is no Illuminati is actually true, then like we would just be paranoid. And so a type 2 error, for example, is when we can't say that the claim there is no Illuminati is false, and we fail to reject it, but the Illuminati actually exists. That's when people are ignorant that the Illuminati exists, and that's the way we like them. So, if we say there is no Illuminati, and there is no Illuminati, or if we say that the Illuminati exists, and the Illuminati actually exists, that's not error, that's just actually being right.
Wow, they never talked about the Illuminati in my government class.
Exactly. One more thing. Alpha is the probability of a type 1 error. Beta is the probability of a type 2 error. And power is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis. So the mathematical equation for power is 1 minus beta. These two things right here. So the higher the power, the lower the chance of a type 2 error. So, for example, a test with a beta level of 5% would have a power level of
1 minus 0.05 is 0.95, so the power level is 95%.
Correct. That is lots of power. You won't be getting type 2 error likely with that. I tell you, man, the higher the type 2 error, the lower the power. Just gosh, type 2 errors are the bane of my existence.
Then how can we raise our power?
Glad you asked. This is what I've been getting to. So, one way to increase your power is to increase your sample size. Like, for example, from 1,000 to 10,000 people in an experiment. The downside to that is an increase in time, resources, money. You can also increase power by decreasing standard deviation, but that also takes effort. So, yeah, you have to make sacrifices to increase power. So, like in Avengers Endgame, when Baby Gamora asks you, what did it cost? Instead of saying everything, you can merely say a lot of time and money.
What other ways can I get more power?
Oh, forget electioneering. Other ways to get more power are to choose a larger value for the differences between the hypothesis and the true mean, which will lead to a more obvious result. You can also do a directional one-sided hypothesis. One last way to increase your power is to increase your alpha level, like from 0.5 to 0.1. An increased alpha level and decreases the likelihood of a type 2 error, but it also increases the likelihood of a type 1 error. So there's always some give and take.
Thanks. I'll be sure to use your tips.
Oh, no, you're not. You're not going anywhere. I can't let you be exposing my secrets.